I did it!
What'd you do?
I drank Mitch Sully's blood.
Jesus Christ. You did what?
I drank Resurrection Man's blood.
Why didn't you do like a transfusion instead of drinking it?
Because I hate needles? You're really getting hung up on the wrong thing. I'm immortal now.
Like forever?
I think. But more so like if I die, then I just come back. Here, try it.
We promised never to use the Supersons shotgun again after what happened on Earth 616.
It's fine.
Okay. Did it work?
Oh, that really hurt. But wonder what kind of power I got.
Oh, that's shocking.
Okay, all right, do it again.
2 hours later.
Meh, this is boring. Let's record the show. And welcome back to Supersons. As always, I'm Dan, and I'm with my brother Jake.
Howdy.
Jake, today we're covering one of my favorite DC characters, Resurrection Man. I don't think anyone else could say they're one of his. He's one of their favorite characters. He's kind of.
This was a comic, Dan.
I love both series with my boy Mitch Sully. Love him.
Like it's not even bad. It's just.
It is unlike anything. It's so weird.
It's something else.
It has got so many things going on, and not really selling it too well right now, but it's got that like kind of cult classic feel. Like, what is going on? Who is this for? And like, I know a couple people who love him because he's Mitch, but so the character was.
It's got some B-movie vibes.
Yeah, and specifically, we'll be covering his new 52 era. We're just reading the whole series because it's only 14 issues, one crossover with Suicide Squad, and an origin quote unquote 0 issue. So everyone in the new 52 got 0 issues to like give like their origins. So because people were just super confused of what was canon and what wasn't, and they actually treated their origin issue as the finale. So,
but the funny thing about those 0 issues is they also had secret origins going on, and they would conflict.
Yep. The new 52 was kind of messy.
There was like 2 Dick Grayson ones. There was one for just Nightwing, and I think there was another one for
Jake, you know why
Grayson?
All it was, right?
What?
Too many cooks. Too many cooks. Too many cooks. Too many cooks. It takes a lot to make a stew, especially when it's me and you.
Wait for the interlude.
What if I did the entire 11 minutes? Just like right here, right now, I didn't stop. I think people would turn it off. I hope people would turn it off. But you know what? Let's talk about Resurrection Man.
How many times have you listened to that song in its entirety?
I don't want to talk about it. So it was created by Dan Abnett, Andy Lanning, and Butch Guice. His first appearance was Resurrection Man #1 in May 1997. The character's name is Mitch Shelley, and his powers are extremely unique. So he has immortality.
What is that?
Immortality by the way of resurrection. So he can live forever, but he can still die. So if you kill him, he just comes back. He can come back so far, like you can cremate him, he'll be ashes, and he can come back from that, which he has. But every time he returns to life, he has a new power. He calls them gifts, which correlate normally to the way he died. So like if he died because he got hit by a truck, he would be super strong, something like that. So
I think that was more for the original. I don't think that
this one happens less. But the way he describes his powers in the original series is at one point he's watching the Justice League at that point fight this big monster, and he describes his powers as budget. He's like, yeah, I got budget powers. They're not like the Green Lanterns or anything, but like I can like shoot fire sometimes. Which is
very. I don't know if I want to save this for the second half of the episode, but the first issue he talks about how he addresses the power.
Mm-hmm.
He kept on talking about taste.
Oh, because he could do magnetism.
Yeah,
that's why he could taste the metal.
Why taste?
Well, because his body was magnetic, so he could like taste it. He's a weird character. He's a really weird dude. But so another fun thing that I thought you would enjoy is that in DC 1 million, he's been with the Justice League for years. At this point, he basically made himself a Ben 10 style Omnitrix that is called the Resurrector, that he can pick what powers he wants and it'll kill him in a way that'll give him those powers.
I mean, after a long enough time of trial and error.
Right? He's got his little Omnitrix. That's what it's called, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a little wrist thing he like slams down on. Some of the characteristics of the characters, I don't know what other kind of word, but salty. He's not an A-lister, not a B-lister. He's like, you would see him in a dive bar. Like, you'd be just hammered at 2 a.m. on like a Thursday night and you would meet Mitch Selly at the bar kind of guy. He doesn't really know who he is. Like,
I feel like that probably fits more into the original, which I haven't read, because that doesn't read with what I just read.
He's a mess in the one we just read. He doesn't have anything together. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know where he's going. He's sort of self-deprecating at times as well. But he always goes out of his way to help people, but he would never call himself a hero. He doesn't see himself that way. He's just a person trying to get by. And if he can do something to help someone else, he does. But we are covering the entire New 52 run. And the creative team stays the same across the board, but everything else does change. So the writers were Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning. Pencils and art for most of the series were Fernando Dagan, but it did change later on. So you've got pencils by Jesus Saez.
Jesus?
Yeah. And Andreas Guinaldo, Javier Pina, Ramon Box, inks by Christian Alamy, Mark Irwin, Jesse Size, and Javier Pina again. Colors by Santiago Arcus, Jeremy Cox, and letters by Rob Lay. I think Rob Lay is the only one who survives the entire series other than the writers.
Yeah.
So my kind of elevator pitch for this...
Survives.
Yeah. Comes back. Is... to say Mitch Shelley is a hot mess is honestly a compliment at best. At the top of his list, the dude doesn't even know who he really is, other than his real name. He's being hunted by a duo of unkillable besties known as the Body Doubles, and both heaven and hell are at war over his soul, because they need to cash that check, which is way, way overdue. During this run, Mitch struggles to figure out his shady past and what made him this way. Mysteries shroud Mitch's links to an evil corporation, heaven and hell, and a bunch of other things. Will Mitch be able to uncover the secrets before he's killed? And killed again, and again, and again, and again? It's... if you like mysteries, this may be for you. The way I try to describe it to Jake is it's got a like Grindhouse B movie feel. Like everyone is kind of hot. Everyone has weird costumes. There's a lot of violence. A lot of stuff happens and doesn't make a lot of sense. It's got that feel like if you're in on it, you're in on it. Like you will love Mitch until the end of time. Like if you read issue 1 and you don't like it, then you're not going to like the rest of it. But if you're hooked, then you'll be one of the people who's like, yeah, where's Mitch Sully right now, guys? Like, why don't you bring him back? Wally West gets to be Dr. Manhattan.
5 people.
Yeah. Me and my 4 people who we meet every week for our RM Anonymous Club. And then, like, well, Wally West gets to be Dr. Manhattan. Why can't Mitch Sully just be in the background of a comic? Huh?
Because Wally West is the best character in the Flash universe, but no one seems to realize that at, DC.
But some of the themes you see are mystery, repentance, life, turning a new leaf, and finding yourself. And the whole series,
literally,
both series are actually on the DC Universe app. The original series, is him going on a cross-country trek to find who he is. He was a lawyer and not what he is in this one. It's a very different series, but it's a little bit more 90s in this one.
That kind of sounds a little more interesting of a background to me.
Yeah, this one's very different. But they're both...
There was a lot of government and military stuff in the beginning of the New 52.
Yeah. So you can find them on DC Universe, or you can get the trades at your local comic book shop. If you don't have a local comic book shop, you can look online, or you can go to our local comic book shop, who you can reach through email, Facebook, or anything like that. Third Eye Comics, thirdeyecomics.com, and they just opened a new location, which will be opening soon. We are just going to always shill for them because they've been our comic book shop since we were children. And they've always treated us fantastically, and they have the same mission that we do. Like, they want people to love things, and there's no like kind of, the vibes in those stores are always great. Everyone who works there is so happy to talk to you and help you find something that you'll love. So, I'll never not pump for Third Eye. Shill? I'll never stop shilling for Third Eye Comics.
Pump for Third Eye.
Jake, what do you think our interlude should be today? You have a song you want to sing?
Do I have a song? I want to do a round. Want to do a little vocal warm up, Dan?
Jake and I started doing vocal warm-ups before episodes, like, ironically, like, not really doing them.
Yeah, no, we recorded two. We're recorded. This is the second episode we're recording today. So instead of doing it before the first one we recorded, we did it like jokingly before this one.
What was I singing earlier that I could do Why There's So Many Songs About Rainbows by Kermit the Frog.
One day we're gonna get a cease and desist. It's gonna be because of you.
No, I don't think Disney's gonna come back. I can do a better Kermit voice than the new Kermit actor can do. I'll say it. I'll go on record. He can fight me if he wants. Actually, he might be strong.
I mean, consistency of voices. I mean, you got like, have you seen Scoob? You heard seen the Scoob trailer? They don't sound the same.
Oh, they do not. Well, that I haven't watched it
they
yet.
just let those regular, normal, big name actors record their regular big name voices.
Isn't Zac Efron in it?
I don't know.
All right. Well,
all I know is Blue Falcon's in it.
Well, okay.
Blue Falcon and Dino Mutt.
We can do Scooby Doo between. What is Jake? You want to sing the Scooby Doo theme song?
Scooby Dooby Doo, where are you?
Got some work to do now. All right, that's good enough. Let's talk about Resurrection Man. Jake, before we start, do you want to give your thoughts? Because if it's not clear, I love Resurrection Man, so I'm only going to...
This was enjoyable, but, like, there was no substance. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it needed it. It didn't need it. It was fun, but God...
So I will absolutely argue that. I thought that too until I was looking back through my screenshots of the issues today. I want to read you 2 pages from the episode that is set in Metropolis. Metropolis dreams of being a city of tomorrow, writes the planet's correspondent Clark Kent. But how much of its yesterday do we want to keep? The admittedly spectacular development of our city sometimes results in the loss of character. The gentrification process is certainly removing some eyesore slums, but old neighborhoods of genuine personality are being leveled and cleared too. Is the new automatically good and the old necessarily bad? That's from the beginning of the issue. Here comes the one from the end of the issue. Metropolis lost a building burns down that they were fighting in. So Metropolis lost an old character today when fire engulfed the old Bradbury Hotel downtown following a police raid on a suspected meth lab. The authorities apprehended the man operating the lab, the so-called Mr. Untouchable, who, true to his name, had survived the conflagration miraculously unscathed, and stories have emerged too. Has Metropolis found another mysterious protector to help it become the city of tomorrow, or has progress and privatization between them claimed another urban casualty? What? I'll be the first to say this series is like eating a really greasy cheesesteak. It's incredibly delicious, and then afterwards you kind of feel a little sick because you're like, I just binged all of Resurrection Man in a day, but
not even a day, just 2 hours.
Those lines talking about gentrification from Clark Kent, about the city that we think as the city of tomorrow losing its past character.
I thought about that. I was like, oh yeah, no, that's accurate.
what? Where did that come from, Dan Abnett? Like, Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning? Like, wow. Like, that's awesome. I was so, like, I was reading that today, and I was like, I'm going to read this whole thing because it's so out there for a series that deals with just weird that I was like, this is a really cool thing, because you would normally hear that about something like Gotham. Like, Gotham deals with, like, this, like, it's not a good place to live, and they're trying to make it better.
Yeah.
But when you think of Metropolis, it's this city that's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. But at what cost? Where does the character go when you're destroying all these buildings, like the LexCorp restoration projects and things like that? You lose the character that is your city. You lose those neighborhoods where people have community and they've built things and there's history. That's wild. That is absolutely wild to think of Metropolis that way.
And they call the one part of the city that's not gentrified the suicide slum.
Yep. It's awesome to see Metropolis as not the God City. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
So I want to talk about our new segment, and I'm going to sing. It's a little jingle. Where is Pandora hiding in the New 52?
I completely forgot.
So, listeners at home, during the New 52, every first issue had a panel of Pandora. Was she created for the New 52?
Yes.
So Pandora appeared in the end of Flashpoint, and she was the one who reset the universe. So in every single issue 1 of the New 52 at the beginning of the line, she would be hiding somewhere. She would be hiding in a panel, in a background, like an Animal Man. She's at the hospital. She is everywhere. And in this, she's in the woods, just, creeping. It was a thing that was going to be like the next big like story, and like it was, but it wasn't great. And then Dr. Manhattan popped her like a pimple.
Yeah, Rebirth issue 1. I mean, I issued just a one shot, but yeah, that was just about, hey, Pandora, vibe check.
You failed the vibe check, her and Rorschach. Yeah, it's the New 52 was very weird. And before we get into the actual story, let's talk about the themes running across the New 52 with like government agencies, the battle between heaven and hell, aliens, and Deathstroke. What do you want to talk about first, Jake?
I guess let's get Deathstroke out of the way.
Why was Deathstroke in everything? Still is.
A lot of people don't understand where Deathstroke came from. I mean, a lot of people would think of him as like a Batman villain, but he's not. Like he started, and I think anyone who remembers Slade from, Teen Titans.
Slade.
No, that Deathstroke started out and was for the longest time a Teen Titans villain, and then he kind of moved into like sometimes being a Green Arrow villain, but for the most part, his nemesis was Dick Grayson. Yeah, and we haven't really seen them go toe to toe. I think it really wasn't until Lazarus Contract, and I think I mentioned that in our interview with
Marv.
No, not Marv. Jordan.
Yeah. So like Deathstroke is in like every series of the New 52. Like he pops up somewhere. He's a major player. And so is the Suicide Squad at that point was like really being pushed. So seeing them,
and it was mustache. The Suicide Squad had probably the most drastic redesigns.
They had probably the worst redesigns.
Yeah,
I mean, Harley Quinn is terrible.
That Harley Quinn is terrible. Then there's mustacheless Deadshot,
Floyd Layton.
and then there's
he needs a mustache. And then there's
King Shark, who looks awful.
I just didn't. The whole New 52. The New 52 was very hit or miss. But
I like Great White Shark, Great White Leather Daddy King Shark, who sings "I'm a shark, I'm a shark, I'm a shark."
Now it's the best King Shark is the Harley Quinn King Shark. There's no arguments there.
Are you arguing with me that Gail Simone?
Yep, 100%.
Had him sing I'm a shark, I'm a shark, I'm a shark, I'm a shark.
Yeah, no, you haven't seen season 2 of Harley Quinn. King Shark is the best ever in that show. And he's got Ron Funches for his voice. Like, the best.
And then there was also Constantine's ex-boyfriend version of King Shark.
Yeah, that one was. But yeah, like there was a lot of weird. It was very weird. Like there was a lot of heaven and hell stuff going on in like Justice League Dark, and it was very tonally gritty. Like it wasn't.
You know what? I was interested to go into reading. I want to read, like, check out, what was it? Was it Men at War about Sergeant Rock?
Yes, Men of War. Wasn't it Palmiotti who wrote it?
I don't know.
Or no, he wrote Secret Soldier or whatever it was.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what it was. Because there was a lot of military ones.
Yeah,
like they tried to diversify the line, and those books didn't find their audience.
Voodoo had a book at that time, and to be fair, Resurrection Man was one of those really weird out there books they relaunched the New 52 that I'll be honest, nobody was asking for except me. And
then there was Grifter, which I actually read all of.
Yeah, Grifter. Yeah, that series was okay, but like they took a lot of chances, and like it didn't work out, but they took some chances, and that's what I like. Yeah. But let's talk about Mitch Shelley, the Drifter hero. He seems like the kind of he has been. I don't remember how often it is in this one where he has a long brown coat and a hat. But like that's kind of what he wears.
He had the long brown coat almost all the time, but he never had a hat.
Oh yeah, he has a hat at some points too. But I like him a lot because he'll never call himself a hero, despite that he is. Like he doesn't think of himself as that kind of upstanding citizen.
Mentioned that he was a lawyer.
Yeah, in the old one he was, but in this, so let's just talk about Mitch. So he's struggling with who he is, and then at the end we find out he's not actually Mitch Shelley. He is the regrown arm of the actual Mitch Shelley, who is still a shitbag CEO of a terrible company. And so throughout the series, we get glimpses of who he was. Like at one point we get a flashback to him walking through a war zone. Also, hashtag suddenly Deathstroke, because randomly Deathstroke is in this scene for no reason other than just protection and to show off Deathstroke and make him a thing. And like he's testing on people that are like people who are victims of war. Like he's a really bad dude. But this Mitch, the clone one, who's kind of quote unquote regrown from the original, isn't. Like he's like, I don't want to be that person. And he struggles with that through the series. Like when he's in Metropolis, he's fighting the guy who was running the meth lab, but he's got this shield that protects his entire body. Like it's like a red shield that covers him that Mitch actually helped create. But as they're fighting, Mitch gets fire powers and is taking the air from inside of the suit because he can't hit him. So he's just making it so hot the suit is like the air is being cut off. And he stops and he's like, whoa, I'm not going to kill this guy. That's not who I am. Maybe that's who the other Mitch was. So he's still got some of those memories and things like that locked away of what he was, but that's not who he wants to be now.
Yeah, everybody. Memory is stored in the hand.
But, and I think one of the highlight of this entire series is the Arkham issue where he's locked away and he doesn't have powers that help him. Like he needs to die to come back, and no one's letting him die. Like they're like, whoa.
He had to get like tossed in like the solitary to which.
And there's this one guard who's just nasty to him, and eventually that guard tries to let everybody out like he's been bribed, and Mitch is about to get out. He has the option to get out of Arkham right there and then. But he sees this happening. He's like, I can't do that. So he helps and gets everything under control, and then he runs. But then he does end up following that guard back to his house and just beats the shit out of him.
After the guard kills him. The guard shoots him in the head.
So he finds the guard and gets him arrested. Like he doesn't just... Oh, he also has... like quantum powers at that point, and he uses like the blue fire to make the bat symbol in the sky, which is awesome. That Arkham issue is probably the best issue in the series. But another note I have here is everyone's just kind of a dumbass in this series. Like nobody's like top brow. They're like not all there. Everything in this series is also Mitch's fault. Like, every bad thing that has happened to all of these people is somehow linked back to old Mitch, who's just POS. But no one is, like, the top brass here. No, we're not dealing with the upper echelon. Like, when Waller gets involved, there's an issue with the Suicide Squad.
We didn't talk about her redesign. Ugh.
It makes me so mad. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about that. That pisses me off. Characters aren't allowed to be fat. Like that's a whole nother issue. But yeah,
Stupid
even
shit.
Everyone's just kind of like you're dealing with like C-list government organizations who like are getting funding somewhere. Like they're just there. Yeah, Jake, let's talk about the body doubles.
Well, one of them, before she became a soldier and before she became an immortal murderer, she was a porn star.
Yeah, it's
and
not
they were
great.
like, yeah, and like they don't treat that with any sort of dignity.
Yeah, it's as I'm rereading this now, I did not like that. But when they are the body doubles, they're actually pretty badass. Like they're not treated as like damsels in distress. Like they're hunting Mitch. Like other than the backgrounds, like they do become characters who are great.
Yeah, they kind of just like try to talk to him. They're like, "Hey, Mitch, just come with us. You know, we won't hurt you." And then they start shooting him again.
Yeah. Yeah, they're and then you've got the transhuman who is like, so Mitch goes to a retirement home where his dad was. And his dad's dead, and he's like all sad about it. Not really his dad. One of his neighbors comes in who's this old man with a mustache and glasses, and he goes, "Oh, I know your dad. Like, I can help you." Turns out he's a former supervillain.
And 19 years old.
Yeah. So his power basically aged his body drastically. He's got a wild look. He looks like something out of just a bad B movie. That is what this is. This is just a weird grindhouse B movie that DC put out, and it never really found its audience because it's just kind of weird.
Just kidding. It did find its audience. Dan is the entirety of that audience.
But I totally understand, like, it's not great. Like, I love it. And I would love to see more. I'd love to see him get a black label so they can really do it up. Also, the designs for the angels are really awesome in this. Like, they're very cool looking. Like the one who kills him too hard that he just reappears in like limbo. She's like, "Uh-oh, I shot him too hard." Yeah, but it's overall, it's like interesting. Yeah, but it when you get to the end and you find out the true story behind what happened, how he's actually not a clone, but he's just a piece of his former self grown.
He's a lizard man.
Yeah, he's kind of just like a lizard. But the other one didn't get the rebirth powers. He just has a terrible body now. So basically, he sacrifices that Mitch to hell.
No, he gives him to heaven.
Oh, to heaven. Yeah, heaven takes him. I don't know if they're doing good things to him. The heaven and hell stuff is interesting because like the angels are not great either. They're like pretty, like in the beginning, they take a plane out of the sky with everyone in it.
Well, she claims that was going to happen anyway. Serial seems like, "Oh yeah, that was going to happen. I just wanted to get you off."
Yeah.
Phrasing.
Jake wrote down most of the powers from this issue as well. Do you want to read those off, Jake?
Yeah. So it started with magnetism, then it was a water form, and then it was sonic scream. There might be a few missing. Then there was super strength, psychokinesis, liquid metal form, rock form, pyrokinesis, which is also like had a form, and then there was shadow form, then there was lightning eyes, and then there was a lava form.
I want to specifically talk about the liquid metal form, where he puts himself over Deadshot's body to basically make himself into like an Iron Man. Like he takes Deadshot's body.
You know what that reminded me of? You know what it reminded me of? Remember when I think it was McDonald's did the Dragon Ball Z toys, but they were literally just like shiny. Like there was like a silver Frieza, a golden Goku.
Yes, vaguely.
I think we lost them in the snow one day, but that's what that reminded me of.
Yeah, I just opened my iPad and I'm looking at this angel who's got like this cool, like kind of business attire with like medieval armor. It's awesome. But yeah, he just puts himself over Deadshot's body and just beats the entire Suicide Squad using Deadshot's body. It's wild. Jake, you wrote down about the Soder Cola Factory. Do you want to explain what that means?
So, Soda Cola is, I guess, DC Universe's Coke.
Yeah,
I wonder what its Pepsi is, but yeah. So it's a really big thing in DC Universe Online, and like you drink a bunch of it, and you get health and stuff. But yeah, no, like they go on a factory tour. Their mascot is a superhero. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I was expecting them to do more with that. I kind of just didn't realize where it was going with that. Yeah.
Yeah, there was. We'll talk about that at the end. You also wrote the lab guard uniform is bitchin'.
Oh, absolutely! Like they're just like this dark red, and they have like this skirt. Oh, so cool.
We'll have to get a picture of that and put it on social media for people to see. I want you to read the next thing that you wrote.
Oh, sacrificing original Mitch for the hand job.
Jake has been referring to the second Mitch as the hand job because
it's more of the arm job. There was also a Waller having one of his hands, which you wrote as one of the dropped
Let's talk
plots.
about that because there's two big, not loose ends.
Also, it was the Burger King Goku.
Sure. So, two loose ends at the end of this series that never have come back. Hell, like whoever the hell representative, the hell PR guy is like, oh, we got plans for you, Mitch. That's at the last issue. And it's like, well, what plans did you have for him? Like, I'd like to know. Like, could you let me know? Like, he doesn't show up in other series. He just kind of vanishes after this point. And that's what he did the first time. He just kind of disappeared. And he was a big part of DC 1 million stuff, but...
Yeah, I remember someone referring to Resurrection Man in that, one of the issues I was reading. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, Mitch just kind of vanished. But then also, Amanda Waller has one of his hands that he lost in the Suicide Squad crossover. She has it in like a jar. If you watch Doctor Who, when Jack Harkness took the Doctor's hand and put it in that little jar, he gets it back and he regrows a second David Tennant in
what you're telling
Journey's
me
End.
What you're telling me is that what's the man? I forgot the girl's name.
Donna?
Huh?
The girl from what? This?
Yeah.
Is Martha? Donna. Donna was his companion.
No, I'm talking about Resurrection Man.
Yeah, the investigator.
What's her name? I read this all today. I did not retain much of this. But yeah, you telling me she's just going to go to another universe where her whole family's still alive and she's going to take the actual hand, Mitch?
Yeah, there's going to be hard airships too.
Yeah.
Mitch Shelley, I miss Doctor Who. But yeah, so Waller
I haven't watched it in a while.
I just need to get caught up in the current season. I only watched the first couple episodes and then I got busy. I think it's on HBO Max, most of it. I don't think the current season's on there. But Waller still has one of his hands somewhere, so he could still regrow. It'll probably never come up again because I guess the only person keeping track of it is me. But I really wanted to say at the end of this episode that
he's your maggot.
No,
he's the maggot of the DC universe.
No, he's better than Maggot. And he's had 2 solo series. So, If anyone knows how to contact Dan Abnett or Andy Lanning, please let me know. I'm searching for them. Jake won't be included in the interview. It's just going to be me and them. And we're going to talk about Resurrection Man. It's going to be a 4-hour-long interview. Very intense. Just talking about Mitch Shelley.
What kind of jeans he wears?
Pretty much anything he can pick up. Because he can't have credit cards. How could he have credit cards if he doesn't have like a birth certificate or anything?
He stole a credit card at the beginning of the series, didn't he?
Yeah, so he's going to keep stealing.
What a guy. What a hero.
He's never will call himself a hero. He's just...
No, he says, man, I thought I was like some kind of hero before, but I don't know anymore.
Yeah, he's like never really sure. He walks that line. He's not like the Punisher who's going out killing people, but he's like... It's just a mess. Mitch Shelley is a hot mess.
Dan also thinks he's really hot.
He's a good-looking guy. Look at him. He's got the silver hair. He's a lot better looking in the new series than he is in the old. The old one is more dive bar. This one's more of like
Then again, I think everyone is supposed to be good looking in this.
Yeah,
except for Hooker.
Yeah, his old partner at the company. Everyone got the powers. The body doubles can regrow. Mitch Shelley doesn't die, but Hooker's power is to live forever, but he doesn't regenerate. So all the damage that has been done to him just sticks, and he just keeps living. So he is horrifying to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is Resurrection Man. Please read it. And if you read it, you can talk to me all day. You could message me on Twitter. You can message me on any platform you can find me on, and I will talk to you about Resurrection Man because I love him. And I love this series, even if it has got a lot of bad stuff in it.
I think you read this at the right time in your life.
Yeah, I love him. I love it now. I love the concept. I think it is such an easy concept to write really good stories with. Imagine if you did a sort of Monster of the Week type story with Mitch Shelley, but instead of Monster of the Week, it is Power of the Week. He dies at the end of every issue. He comes back, has a fun little romp. You can do multiple types of stories.
That's kind of what this was, but it was, Power of the Month.
Yeah, but it had a lot of stories. But you could just do one-offs, like one-shots, over and over and over. He could be in everything. But no, everyone at DC Comics is cowards, and they won't put Mitch Shelley back in stuff.
Yeah, everyone's afraid of Mitch Shelley, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You heard it here.
You're afraid of his power, his good looks, and his charm. He's such a...
Mitch Shelley.
Mitch Shelley, my hero.
Devilishly handsome.
Yeah, that's our episode this week.
Remember when they just wore a beard? Wore a fake beard, and she wore an afro, and they kind of went to the cola factory thinking that no one's gonna recognize them.
Yeah, but no,
no. Why would anyone recognize them?
The cover for the first, I'm holding it right here. The art for the first one's great too. It's such a weird little thing.
I love how his powers, like what it looks like when he revives in this, with the double helixes.
Yeah. Also, in the original series, he beats Batman. Batman corners him, and I'll tell you. So the page is Mitch Shelley is in a morgue, and Batman comes in, and he's like, "How have you managed to be pronounced dead 3 times tonight already?" And Mitch says, "It's a gift. Happy birthday to you," and blasts Batman with lightning. The original series has more interaction with the DC universe at large. Oh man, I know what I'm doing tonight. I'm going to reread this whole series. There's some bad stuff in the original. It's dated.
Oh.
It's real dated. I'm flipping through right now. But
granted, there was some very dated things from just the New 52. So
yeah, you know what? Things always get better. And we try to...
Yeah, people ask, oh, wow, we weren't allowed to write this kind of stuff before, but now they ask, oh, should we write this stuff like we couldn't do before?
Yeah, there's a better precedent, and only the people who don't believe stuff should change are bad. Yeah, so we will catch you in 2 weeks. Same bat time, same bat channel.